The Zareth Dominion fleet swept into the Orion corridor with the quiet confidence of predators certain of their prey. 32 warships, their hulls shimmering with crimson ion shields, drifted in precise formation.
From his command throne aboard the flagship Crothal's Spear, Admiral Vaylor surveyed the distant starfield. The Orion corridor was a narrow route between nebulae, rich with trade and resources. The Dominion had taken 6 such corridors in the last year.
This would be the 7th.
3 cycles to Sol's outer boundary, reported Captain Gray, his voice steady.
No hostile contacts. No planetary defense grid detected. Vaylor's black eyes narrowed. Perfect. The humans will not even have time to surrender before we break their capital to dust. The bridge crew chuckled softly. The Dominion had never heard of a civilization resisting once its fleets appeared in orbit. But that changed at the 23rd minute of the second cycle. It began as a whisper on the sensors. Lieutenant Serac frowned at his console.
"Admiral, there's something emerging from subspace ahead. Vector, directly along our path."
"Another merchant convoy?"
Vaylor asked.
"No, sir." Serac's fingers danced over the screen. Signature, unknown.
Mass reading, he stopped.
"Out with it," Vaylor growled. "Mass reading is larger than a Dominion fortress station."
The bridge fell silent. On the main viewport, space rippled like a stone breaking the surface of still water. The distortion swelled, shimmered, and then, like a curtain pulled back, revealed a shape.
It was a ship.
No, not a ship, a city forged into the silhouette of a warship.
Its hull was a deep, unreflective black, so vast that its shadow eclipsed the faint light of a nearby star. Thin lines of pale blue luminescence traced along its surface like veins of some sleeping titan.
No weapon ports were visible, no insignia, no banners.
Yet everyone aboard Crothal's Spear felt it. The sense of being watched. Vaylor leaned forward. "Open hails." No response came. "Scan for energy signatures." Serac swallowed. "I am reading nothing, Admiral." No engine output. No shield harmonics. "It's cold."
The alien ship simply floated there, utterly still, blocking the fleet's route like a silent sentinel. Captain Gray's voice trembled for the first time.
"Orders, Admiral? Shall we move around it?" "No," Vaylor snapped. "We are the Dominion. We do not give way." He opened fleet-wide comms. "This is Vaylor to all ships, prepare weapons. Show this relic what happens to those who stand in our path." As the order echoed through the fleet, something changed. The colossal ship's surface glimmered, faintly at first, then brighter. The pale blue lines grew in intensity until they formed intricate geometric patterns across its armor, patterns no one in the Dominion recognized, shifting like the slow turn of constellations. "Admiral," Serac whispered. "I think it's powering up." Every Dominion weapon system locked onto the target. Plasma cannons warmed. Missile tubes armed. Yet before Vaylor could give the order to fire, the lights on his bridge flickered. One by one, every targeting reticule on every ship in the fleet went dark. "Report!" Vaylor roared. "Targeting systems offline," Gray said, disbelief heavy in his tone. "Shields are collapsing." Static filled the comm channels. Panic erupted across the bridge as status reports poured in, navigation computers scrambled, weapons disabled, long-range communications severed. In the sudden hush, a sound filled the void, not over comms, not through speakers, but somehow resonating inside their skulls. A single pulse. 2. It wasn't loud, but it carried weight. The kind of weight that made you feel small. On the viewport, the colossal ship did nothing. No guns aimed, no fighters launched. It simply radiated presence, like a predator who didn't need to bare its teeth to be feared. Vaylor's throat felt dry. This wasn't how battles went. "What is it?" Gray asked quietly, as if speaking too loudly might draw its wrath. No one answered. Minutes passed. The fleet floated powerless, every ship a helpless shell in the shadow of the Titan. The geometric lights pulsed again once, then faded back into darkness. And then, as silently as it had come, the ship turned. It did not accelerate in any visible way. One moment, it faced them. The next, it was drifting past, its vast hull gliding just close enough for the Dominion crews to see the battle scars etched into its black armor, deep gouges, scorch marks, the remains of weapons no Zereth engineer had ever conceived. As the Titan passed beyond sensor range, Dominion systems flickered back to life. Targeting reticules reappeared. Shields reformed. Engines roared to readiness. Vaylor stared at the empty space where it had been. "Admiral?" Gray asked. Vaylor didn't answer immediately. He was remembering the feeling, the awareness, that had pressed down on them. Not malice, not mercy. Just the acknowledgement of an insect by something far greater. Finally, he spoke. "Order the fleet to reverse course. We will not take Sol." "Sir?" Gray looked stunned. "We can regroup." "No," Vaylor cut in. His voice was quiet now, stripped of pride. "That was no relic. That was a warning." When the Dominion fleet returned home, their official report was brief. Encounter with unidentified warship. Engagement impossible. Recommendation: avoid Sol system. But among the crews, the story spread faster than any order. They spoke of the giant ship in hushed tones. Some called it the human colossus. Others called it the silent sentinel. None ever forgot the way it had looked at them, without moving, without speaking, and made them stop. And far away, deep within the Sol system, the warship rested again in its silent watch, waiting for the next fleet foolish enough to test its patience. The Kralskar Empire had waged war for as long as its chronicles existed. Entire star systems bore their banners, civilizations rose and fell beneath their plasma cannons. So when the forward scout fleet entered an unclaimed sector on the fringe of mapped space, there was no expectation of resistance. The local star was unremarkable, yellow, middle-aged, solitary. Around it, a handful of planets spun silently. Commander Talrek sat in the command spire of the cruiser Vorith's Fong, surveying the pale blue orb ahead. "That one," he said, nodding toward the third planet. "Ocean heavy. Thin atmosphere. Primitive biosigns. We'll take it for resources before the others catch wind." "Acknowledged," his helm officer replied. "Long-range scans show no active defense network. No star bases. Only, wait." The officer frowned at the console. "What?" Talrek demanded. "There's something in orbit. Large structure. Metallic mass, but no power signatures. It's a drift." The viewport magnified, and the object appeared an ancient, scarred hulk of a vessel. Its blackened hull was riddled with impact marks, entire plates twisted and torn. It hung motionless above the blue world, like a carcass in the sky. Talrek sneered. "An old wreck. Likely a derelict from some long-dead species. We'll destroy it for sport." A ripple of laughter passed through the bridge crew. The fleet closed in. 5 cruisers, 9 escorts, each bristling with fresh weapons. The derelict grew larger in the viewport, its surface details coming into focus. The armor wasn't smooth, every inch bore battle scars. Some were clean punctures, others were deep gouges melted into the metal. Yet for a ship supposedly dead, its form was imposing. Long, angular lines converged into a predatory silhouette. "Strange," murmured the sensor chief. "I detect traces of regenerative alloy." Talrek glanced at him. "Impossible. That technology is ours. And we've only had it for a century." The chief's mandibles clicked uneasily. "Sir, this ship has it. And older. Much older." The Vorith's Fong drifted to within weapons range. Talrek raised a clawed hand. "All ships target the derelict. Fire at will." Plasma cannons flared, streaking beams of searing green toward the motionless hulk. The shot struck, explosions bloomed across the vessel's hull, and faded. No new damage appeared.
The bridge crew stared in disbelief.
Report, Talrek demanded. The weapons officer's voice shook.
Sir, the impacts are being absorbed.
Our shots aren't penetrating. Before Talrek could order another volley, the derelict's engines lit.
A deep, blue-white glow spread along its length, bleeding through cracks in its hull plating. It moved not with the sluggish drift of debris, but with a predator's sudden precision.
Contact is active, the sensor chief shouted. Energy readings impossible. It's pulling power from. I don't even know where.
The derelict, no, the warship, swiveled, its massive forward section locking directly onto the Vorith's Fong.
Talrek's instincts screamed. Evasive maneuvers. All ships scatter. Too late. From the warship's prow, a faint shimmer expanded into a pale blue sphere of light. No thunderous roar, no blinding flash, just a pulse.
In that instant, 3 Kralskar capital ships ceased to exist. One moment they were there, the next, they were silent clouds of vapor and molten wreckage.
The comm channels erupted with panicked voices. It's targeting us.
Shields are useless, my systems are dying.
It's moving like it knows where we're going before we move.
Talrek's claws dug into the armrests of his command seat.
Retreat. Full burn, now. Engines roared, and the fleet broke off in all directions. The ghost ship didn't pursue its speed, it simply pivoted, tracking each fleeing vessel for a heartbeat before letting them go. Like a predator letting wounded prey limp away. Hours later, the fleet regrouped beyond the system's edge. Only 6 ships remained. The rest were gone, erased in seconds. On the bridge of the Vorith's Fawn, silence reigned. No one dared speak until Talrek finally broke it.
That ship, he said, voice low, fought us like it had done so before.
The sensor chief hesitated. Sir, I ran its silhouette through the archives. I shouldn't have found anything. But I did.
Talrek turned to him sharply.
Explain.
The chief brought up a grainy, ancient image on the central display.
The picture showed the same warship, only newer, gleaming, unscarred. Around it, hundreds of unfamiliar ships lay in ruin.
This, the chief said, is from a data fragment dated more than 5,000 cycles ago.
Pre-Empire records. It's tagged with a single word in an ancient trade dialect. What word?
The chief's mandibles clicked once before he answered.
Human. Talrek stared at the image, then back toward the blue planet far behind them. 5,000 cycles. That's before our empire rose. Before our wars. And he trailed off. The realization sank into every crew member present. Humanity had fought wars before the Kralskar even crawled out of their homeworld's oceans. Wars so vast that ships like the one above Earth were built, fought, and somehow survived. We never knew, Talrek murmured. We never knew we were fighting in their shadow. He turned to the helm. Set course away from this sector.
Mark it on all charts, no approach, no survey, no trespass.
The official report to the High Command was clinical. Contact with ancient human warship. Engagement resulted in unacceptable losses. Further aggression is inadvisable.
But within the Empire's fleets, the tale spread like wildfire. They called it the Ghost of Earth's War, a ship from a battle so old it had become legend, yet still willing to rise and defend its home. And in the quiet dark above Earth, the warship powered down again, settling into its silent vigil. The scars along its hull caught the faint glint of starlight, each mark a memory of an enemy long defeated. It waited, as it always had, for the next intruder. The Orion Alliance's invasion armada moved through space like a tidal wave. 400 warships, dreadnoughts, carriers, and cruisers stretched across the black, each bristling with weapons capable of burning continents. Their banners shimmered on every hull, a reminder to all who saw them that the Alliance was supreme. At the heart of the formation, High Strategist Call Thren stood before the panoramic viewports of the flagship Sovereign Flame, his 6 eyes scanning the darkness. This will be simple, Thren told his aides. Sol has no fleet. No stations. Barely interstellar travel. By this time tomorrow, Earth will be ours.
Laughter rippled across the command deck. The fleet's journey was smooth until they reached the outer edge of the Sol system.
Beyond the scattered orbit of icy bodies, just past the asteroid belt, their long-range sensors faltered.
Strange, muttered the sensor chief. We're losing signal integrity. Interference, but from what? Before Thren could reply, a single contact appeared on the main display. One ship. Stationary. Its mass reading dwarfed even the Alliance's largest dreadnoughts.
The first visual came moments later. From behind the dwarf planet Ceres, a vessel slid into view. It moved slowly, deliberately, revealing itself like a curtain lifting on some ancient stage. It was vast, so vast that even the veteran captains of the fleet fell silent. Its hull was a deep silver gray, with armored plates the size of small cities.
Entire decks jutted outward like citadels.
Weapon arrays were embedded across its surface, hundreds, maybe thousands of them, each unfamiliar, each glowing with faint power. It was a Titan-class ship, but no Titan in the Alliance's records was even half its size.
On the bridge of the Sovereign Flame, the crew murmured in disbelief. Where did this come from? An aide whispered.
Thren's voice was sharp.
Unknown. Scan it. The scan came back, incomplete.
Every attempt to probe its systems was reflected back, like the ship itself was watching them in return. Then a voice spoke over the comms. It was in perfect Alliance standard, the accent strange but clear.
Turn around. Now.
The voice was calm.
Confident. Unhurried. Thren stiffened. Identify yourself. Silence. Final warning, the voice said. The comms cut off. The Armada did not retreat. Why would it?
The Alliance had crushed hundreds of worlds, faced down fleets 10 times their size. One ship, no matter how large, could not stop them.
Thren ordered in advance. The fleet moved forward, weapons powering up. That's when the Titan moved.
Without visible engines firing, it rotated, its prow lowering like a fortress raising its shield. Sections of its hull split apart, revealing colossal cannons, barrels so large that the largest Alliance warship could have flown through them. The glow from within those cannons was like staring into the heart of a star.
The Titan fired once. It was not a beam. It was not a missile. It was light.
A sphere of searing brilliance erupted from its prow and expanded outward at impossible speed. Every ship it touched simply stopped.
Engines froze mid-burn. Weapon charges dissipated.
Even the light from nearby stars seemed to dim, as if space itself had gone still. In less than a second, the advance line of the Alliance fleet hung motionless in space, every system dead, crews staring at darkened consoles in horror.
Thren gripped the edge of the viewport. What is this? His comms officer's voice shook.
We've lost all control, strategist.
Life support, weapons, navigation. Everything is offline.
The Titan's voice returned.
This is your only mercy. And then, the lights on the disabled ships flickered back on. Engines restarted. Weapons rearmed. But no one moved. No orders to fire came. No one dared.
Across the fleet, captains spoke over secure lines. Words like impossible and planet killer echoed through the encrypted channels. Some whispered that it wasn't just a ship, it was a remnant from an age before the Alliance, a war relic built by a civilization that had fought battles so catastrophic that even the galaxy's oldest empires had erased them from history.
And now it was here. Protecting Sol. Thren's hands tightened.
The rational part of him knew the truth: if they attacked, that ship would not miss again. He gave the order no strategist in the Alliance had given in 100 years.
Turn the fleet around. The withdrawal was silent. No one spoke. No one celebrated. Even as the Armada turned away, the Titan remained still, watching them go. The glow from its weapons faded. Its massive hull drifted back toward Ceres, like a mountain sinking into the sea. When the fleet re-entered Alliance space, their official report was brief. Encountered human warship of unknown classification. Engagement inadvisable. Recommend permanent exclusion of Sol system. But that wasn't what spread through the fleets.
The story became legend the day 400 ships faced one, and the one made them stop. They called it the day the stars stopped.
And somewhere in the silent reaches of the Sol system, the Titan-class ship waited, patient as the void, for the next empire foolish enough to test its warning.